Hello and welcome to today's video as we preview EDG, Edward Gaming, going into 2025. This roster, so yesterday we went over BLG and how the stats kind of underrated BLG. You saw their players, Bin ranked 7th when I have him as the best top laner in the world. Way 10th when we know he's much better than that in the LPL, etc. EDG, it's the opposite. I think we're a little bit overhyped. So based on stats from last season, with these individual players, the team would rank 5th. Going into this season. That would mean they're just outside of Worlds contention and in the regional finals conversation. Personally, I think that this roster is playoff worthy, especially if they continue to run 10 playoff teams, which I think would be an absolute joke. And I think anybody that even would be an advocate for 10 playoff teams out of 16 has no idea what they're thinking. But nevertheless, I think this team could certainly be, even if it was 8 playoff teams like I think it should be, they're in that conversation. Last 3 seasons, last year, they did not make playoffs at all. In 2023, they were 5th in championship points. 2022, 3rd. Top laner ZDZ, he played with Weibo and RNG last season. A top laner that leaves a lot to be desired. He's not overly great, to say the very least. With anyone's legend a few years back, he did have some pop-off moments when that team really sucked. And now he's alongside Zhao Hao again, so we'll see how that goes. 2-1 KDA, 52.6 KP, 7.9 CS per minute, 1.5 share differential, which is damage share minus gold share. 1.38 damage divided by gold. On average, behind 260 gold, which is something we're going to find with this team. That is the biggest reason why I think some stats are boosting them, but that stat in particular is very ugly for this team. If things go the way they did last year in terms of laning phase and early game, this team's going to lose a lot of games. 2.86 vision score per ward placed, 18 champions, 89 games. ZDZ ranked 9th amongst LPL top laners last year, 23 years old. Kesante, Renekton, and Rumble account for 55% of his games played last season. I think he played Kesante like 29 times. Complete insanity. Zhao Hao in the jungle played with Rare Adam and Weibo last season. I thought with anyone's legend a couple of years back, he was one of those players that deserved a big opportunity. I thought the playing with Weibo is a big deal. And I do wonder how well he would have done if they had just replaced ZDZ with Breathe and left Zhao Hao in the lineup instead of taking on Tarzan. How far Weibo would have gotten. Now, Tarzan obviously is very important to that team's success. But I think Zhao Hao could have done, probably 2/3 of that work. And they're probably a playoff team. They don't get to Worlds. They don't get to semifinals. But, I think they would have been serviceable. Zhao Hao is that good of a jungler. But 4-1 KDA, a 77.7 KP. That's huge. 5.9 CS per minute. So 3 out of every 4 to 4 out of every 5 kills, this jungler has his fingerprints on it. That's some of the highest you're going to find in Tier 1. So very active. Maybe, quite possibly the shot caller if he's that involved. -4 share differential. 1 damage per gold. Down 245 gold. 3.89 vision efficiency, 19 champions, 86 games. He ranked 6th last season. He's 22 years old. Jin Zhao, Sejuani, and Viego, 44% of his games. Mid lane, Angel. So Angel, with OMG, had some great games last season. There were moments where he, really took over, and statistically, he checks out. This mid-jungle duo is one of the better ones you're going to find in the LPL this season based on stats from last year. With OMG, he had a 5-1 KDA, a 71.2 KP, and a 9.1 CS per minute. So very involved in his own right. Nearly 3 out of every 4 kills. So expect this mid-jungle duo to get a lot done. Maybe Zhao Hao takes on more resources now with this team and meshes with Angel, kind of how we were hoping Zhao Hao and Zhao Hu would have been last year. A +3 share differential, 1.44 damage divided by gold, down 60 gold at 15 minutes, 2.66 vision efficiency, 17 champions, 72 games, 5th last season, 24 years old, Wei, Talia, Lucian, 42% of his games. EDG don't have much of an academy team. Mimosa is the only one listed on Leaguepedia at the moment. Mimosa played 7 games last year with EDG. youth. 3.5 KDA, 64.3 KP, 8.1 CS per minute, and 1.63 damage divided by gold. We'll see what this team does in terms of the LDL this season. Assume in the 80 carry role, he's got to step up this year for me. If he does not answer the bell, he's a player that I'm going to say, okay, I was wrong about. I thought that he had a lot of potential when he was playing with Rare Adam and LGD prior to that, but it's gotten to the point now where he needs to get shit done. And if he doesn't, there's something to be said about that. This team isn't awful. Like I said, this team might struggle in the early game, but this team is not awful. He has better players than he's ever had. He needs to step it up and actually perform. 3.8 KDA, 68 KP, 8.8 CS per minute, a 3.6 share differential. So let's look at this team real fast. 4.5, 8.1. So there is negative 1.9% share differential on this team. That means they are receiving more gold than they're delivering in damage, about a 1.9% difference. So you'd hope that that damage comes from somewhere. Someone's going to have to step it up on this team that was not doing the job last season for their own. I'm expecting that to be Xiaohao and Asum. Those two need to get it done. 1.47 damage divided by gold, up 35 gold at 15 minutes. When we calculate all that, 505, 565, 530. Well, I mean, it could be worse. I guess they're not as behind as far as I thought. Wink actually did very well, up 235 gold. So maybe this team isn't getting gapped at 15 minutes like I originally thought. I'm looking at the top side, on average behind 505, 565, but you take in the bot lane 270, now it's not as bad. Not as bad. I mean, it's 400, 300, 400 gold at 15 minutes on average is like nothing. 3 vision efficiency, 16 champions, 82 games. Is ranked as the worst player on the team, 10th last season in the LPL amongst 80 carries. 21 years old. Varus, Callista, Ziggs, 39% of his games. Wink, definitely boosted by stats. He is not the second best LPL jungle support. Certainly not. He's probably not even top 5, probably not even top 7, but statistically, he was second, playing with IG and then EDG. And he did play better than many expected him to, in my opinion, but as far as is concerned, I think he's pretty average. Now, is he the best support Asum's had? I think so. 3.2 KDA, a 76.2 KP, so another player very active in their team's successes. 3 out of every 4 kills. So there is a possibility here where you do have a situation where you have players willing to get out and make things happen on this squad, which is a nice thing to have. You don't have players doing their own side missions. Negative 6 share differential, 0.74 damage divided by gold, up 235 gold at 15 minutes. 1.73 vision efficiency, one of the lowest, especially given that Wink is a former 80 carry, and I think he played a healthy amount of Ashe games last season. 18 champions, 79 games. Second oldest player on the team, 25 years old. Nautilus, Rel, Alistar, his most played. They account for 46% of his games. Coach is Clear Love. Definitely not as good of a coach as he was as a player. 47 and 46 over his career as a coach for EDG, accredited on Leaguepedia for a 51% win rate, and 8 and 8 in the playoffs. Definitely a guy that last season I don't think he was really built to be the coach of a team with a bunch of young players. This year it's the opposite. They have older players, established guys in Angel and Xiaohao. More so Angel, but still Xiaohao's been around the block. I expect it to be, a playoff team. It also has the potential to be the one of those teams that we think are going to be a playoff team and be an absolute disaster. Because really, Xiaohao, Angel, Asum seem like guys that I would think are pretty good, but they got to show up. Xiaohao and Asum have to show up if this team wants to do well. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.